Hello, and welcome to the Mongers.
Where we talk about the strange and freakish things in our slice of the world. I'm Christina.
And I'm Quincy. Let's wonder, Monger. Hi, Christina.
Hi.
How are things?
Things are fine.
No new insight about how the world works or how things are coming back from Japan?
I know how things work in Japan.
Yay!
Yay!
How is your life since coming back?
Honestly, weirdly, it's been an adjustment.
Oh, do explain.
Okay, so Japan is just a different flavor of the same fruit that Korea gives you.
Give it an apple.
What?
What kind of apple would it be? Flavor it an apple.
I don't know that many apples. I guess Korea is Granny Smith.
That's the best apple.
Oh, okay.
Great. I'm not upset with that answer. Go on.
I don't think this is working. Korea is not the best apple. It's not the worst apple either, but it's,
Granny Smith's the best apples.
Okay, great. Yeah, I don't like this analogy.
Oh, okay, I'm
it's
sorry.
not working.
Okay, never mind then. Never mind. It's
No, it's
fine.
fine. It's just I can't like describe it in apples. I'm sorry.
Your lack of apple knowledge is displeasing.
I am so sorry about that.
I'm a vegan. I only know two apples. Two apples. Anyway.
Anyway, Japan was great.
Great. I'm so happy.
Yeah. What?
What about Japan was great?
Tell
Tell me all about Japan.
I got to hang out with my friend that I haven't seen in years, in person, and it's the longest that I've spent with her since probably freshman year of college.
Yay!
So, that was great. I got to meet her son. He's wild because he's 2. But he's one of the best 2-year-olds that I know right now.
Yay! How many 2-year-olds do you know?
We're not going to talk about that fact.
It's like, is this a really big or a really small ranking system?
He's a great kid.
Great!
And I got to meet her husband for the first time ever. He's great. But, I wasn't expecting his accent.
Oh yeah, that was a good little piece of information.
Yeah.
Would you like to share?
He's fully Japanese. Mm-hmm. However, when he speaks, it sounds like he's British. He's not.
Like at all.
At all. I assume it's because he has been to Australia for a few years, and he just picked up a little bit on the accent, and it stuck with him.
Great. Still the wrong accent.
Right, yeah, but I think the Australian plus Japanese accent just equals British. The weirdest British, but still British.
British flavored from somebody who's never been to Britain.
Correct.
Great. I love that information.
But I also got to go see a lot of other things. Like, I got to see a bunch of temples, and I got to see the other thing that's like temples, but it's not. What's the word? Help me. Help me.
The thing that is a temple but is not a temple.
Yeah. It'll hit me at a later point. We're going to be talking about like Lewis Pullman again or something, and I'm going to be like, it's this.
I'm just trying to figure out what your train of thought would be if it's not a temple. Is it like religious or not?
If I knew that, it would just blurt out, wouldn't it? I don't know. But we went to that. We went to go and see a sumo tournament. That was fun.
That sounds wildly fantastic.
It honestly was. And then we also got to go, like, see modern Japan in different various forms. We got to go see older or, like, kept up places. Like, there's a bamboo forest that we went to. It was really cool. Yeah,
that's
really
very
pretty.
exciting.
Everything's, like, extra pretty there in various formats, that it's not quite here. Like, they care about things differently than Koreans do. And Koreans care about things differently than Japanese
That makes sense.
It's just different, you know? Like, the emphasis is on a different syllable over there. That's all.
Fair enough. I can get behind that. How did Steven like the trip?
Oh, he loved it.
Great.
He had a great freaking time.
Now here's the most important question.
Okay.
Did the ramen live up to what it was supposed to live up to?
Okay, so...
I haven't gotten to ask him this yet. I've been waiting for the podcast.
I didn't taste his ramen.
Right.
So I don't know
was his reaction like...
Okay,
like, I figured that would be the only thing he'd be talking about at this point.
Fair. He had really good ramen while he was there. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the ramen that he was told was number 2 in the area. Like, in top 2. But he did have very good ramen while he was there. And he had various formats of ramen.
Well, I'm glad to hear he at least had good ramen.
At all.
Yeah.
Yes.
And his entire dreams were crushed or anything by that form and fashion.
I mean, I still think that he had really good ramen in the area that he was hoping to have really good ramen, regardless.
Great.
So,
glad.
It all worked.
Okay. So, I know we had a question last episode about dreams.
Uh-huh.
And it was probably something along the lines of, do you dream? What do you dream about? Do you remember? Whatever. I feel like we covered that last episode.
Yeah, and also, I've been to a different country since then,
yeah.
so I don't fucking remember what we were talking about.
Hold on, sorry.
There's an earthquake. That's what's happening.
No, it was my left leg fell asleep because it was underneath my body, but it's fine. Okay, so I had a wild dream recently.
Please tell me.
And I feel we're going to cover that instead of answering a question.
That sounds
because
good.
Also nobody wrote in to tell me about a dream recently, so...
How dare they?
I know. Write us. I was gonna call him a name, but I figured that wouldn't help us get people writing us in. So, okay, so I had this dream that, you know how, like, so I was in my own house, and everything was, like, fine and normal, and Jake was gone.
Okay.
Doing whatever it is he does.
Pretty typical.
Yeah. And so I get, like, people just ringing my doorbell.
Okay.
Over and over and over again. And every time I look through the camera thing that we have here in Korea, I see it's, like, people, like, the people who are like, let me talk to you about my religion, blah, blah, blah. But it was nobody specific. It was all, like, different types of people.
Okay.
And finally, like, I get so sick of it that I... like, because they're ringing the front door, not my actual door.
Okay.
So I'm, like, over it. Like, I stop paying attention. And then somebody rings my actual doorbell.
Oh.
And I don't even check to see who it is. I, like, burst out, like, through my house, out to my front door, and I push it open, and I'm like, I don't know who you are, but what do you want? Like, yelling, right?
Damn. Oh, wait, hold on. They probably don't understand when you say, not my front door, but my front door.
Oh, okay. So you can ring my apartment building. So you can ring it from the front door from the street, or you can ring my actual, like, doorbell for my house.
Right.
So throughout this whole beginning of the dream, like, people were ringing the apartment.
Right, the building itself.
The building, and trying to get me to let them in. But finally, somebody rings my actual, like, doorbell.
Right.
To my apartment. And so, like, I push open the door, and I'm like, I don't know who you are or what you want, but why are you ringing my doorbell?
Yeah.
Do you want to take a hot guess as to who was ringing this doorbell?
I'm going to guess it wasn't anyone Korean.
No.
Mm-mm. Tell me it was Louis Pullman.
It was not.
Really?
And that would have made this so much better.
Okay. Tell me it was... the man we do not speak his name of.
It was Tom Cruise.
You're kidding me.
I'm so sorry, but people are, like, paparazzi are following me, and this is, like, the first, like, house that had an open garage.
Uh-huh.
And it was the first building I could get into without, like, talking to having to be stuck outside ringing people's doorbells.
Huh.
He's like, can I hide out here? And he was like, oh, thank God you speak English, all this stuff. He's like, I don't speak Korean. I'm struggling, all this stuff. And I'm like, I like, people are like banging at the front door to my building and I can hear them because I live
kind of like how Garfield is outside the door.
Yeah. So we could hear him and I was like, I guess, like, so I let this man into my house.
You let your arch nemesis into your house?
Yes, I did. I let my arch nemesis into my house, and this is why. I'm like, can I get you anything? Whatever. And he's like, no, I'm just gonna sit away from all of your windows. And I was like, okay. Which really doesn't work, because my house is mostly windows.
Yeah, I don't know where he's gonna be at all.
You know, me either. And then he sat down, like, at my kitchen island, which is not away from the windows.
Nope. Also, you don't have an island.
No, or, like, my bar situation.
Yeah.
And I was like, excuse me, I have to take a phone call. And I go and I call you.
Oh.
And I'm like, I need you to come over. But, like, you have to act like it was already a plan.
Okay.
Like, I can't be, like, you can't let anybody else into my house, all this stuff. Like, you have to be really inconspicuous and you have to come over because you'll never believe who's in my house.
Okay.
And you go, okay. And, like, 20 minutes later or whatever, of just, like, sitting in awkward silence, like I do when the people are over at my house, like, fixing something. Tom Cruise is just sitting there quietly with his hands folded, like, at my kitchen counter. Like, just, like, just, like, sitting there. Just, like, being all quiet and polite and just, like, yeah, this is fine. I'm, like, awkwardly, like, putting my dishes away.
Goodness.
And, like, it was just really weird. And so you, like, knock on the door, and he, like, there's people here, they found their way in, and I'm like, oh, no, I had plans, I'm sorry. And so I go and I let him in, or I let you in.
I was about to say, who's he?
I let you in.
Great.
And he's just, like, standing there really awkwardly, you know, like, or I leave him, like, sitting there really awkwardly, and I come and I get you, and I'm like, I'll never believe who's in my house, and we walk in, and he's finishing unloading my dishwasher, and putting nothing back where it goes.
What a nightmare.
Yeah, he was like putting forks, like, in my mixing bowls, and then putting the mixing bowls away. It was just really weird, and you looked at me, and the first thing you said was, wow, I can't believe you're letting him touch your good dishes. And that was the whole dream.
That was what I said?
Yeah. I can't believe you're letting him touch your good dishes. Like, not even, oh my God, it's Tom Cruise, or why is he in your house? It's, wow, I can't believe you're letting him touch your good dishes.
You don't have bad dishes.
Yeah, it's not. I also don't have, like, fine china either. Like, I just have normal people dishware. But you're like, wow, I can't believe it. And I think he was holding one of those big, like, Pyrex mixing bowls, like my big yellow set of Pyrex mixing bowls.
The ones that you, like, are very, very into.
I'm very attached to those, yes.
Yeah. Like, when you perish, if you ever get attached to an object, it's gonna be those bowls. So they can never be separated.
No, but they do get separated, and then suddenly somebody's just being haunted by, like, my left leg and my left leg only, because that's just, like, attached to the smallest mixing bowl.
You just hear every once in a while.
That's fantastic. Oh no, my kitchen bowl is haunted by a leg. What a awful concept. I hate that. Hate that. Speaking of things that I hate, the army is being the army.
They're fucking around.
They're fucking around, and I guess we're the ones who have to find out.
That's normally how it goes.
So Jake was supposed to be leaving for, like, 5 months of this year. They're actually sending him again to another place. So instead of just being gone from the summer into, or the late summer into the fall, he'll be gone in the spring too.
But, like, that one's supposed to be for
2 months.
Oh, I thought it was like a month and a half.
It might be. He's like the first like 2 weeks or whatever are here.
Okay.
Like it's like over Zoom or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how military school works.
Fair.
And it's not like the military school that like when I like you remember in old TV shows where they're like, I'll send you to military school,
right.
and they're like 12.
Yep.
It's like no, he's like actually going to school for the military or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know how it works, but apparently the first like 2 weeks are over Zoom or something. But because it's on U.S. time, he's gonna be up all night and sleeping all day, which sounds just tragic.
But that'll kind of get him ready for when he is actually over there.
Yeah.
He won't have a terrible time with the time difference and everything.
Yeah. But it's going to be a little bit longer of us being apart because I'm going to the U.S. in March.
Right.
So when he's supposed to leave, like the end of the second or beginning of the third week or something of March, I'll have left the first week of March. So that's 2 extra weeks.
Ooh.
And also the military's out here like, oh, maybe you could stay in Korea another year. And I'm like, okay, I guess.
That whole situation is
fucked.
Ridiculous.
It's really ridiculous.
Because he was supposed to go to this schooling for the summer through the fall. And, like, it was already basically a done deal. Mm-hmm. And then at the last second, they're like, we won't do it unless...
That's a lot of money.
Right.
And, like, the battalion or the brigade or, I don't know, whatever they are.
Yeah, some people somewhere that get paid more than me.
They're like divorced parents who are like, I'm not paying for it, you're paying for it. It's your kid, you're paying for it. Except then, after it gets paid for, they're doing the same like divorced parent thing where they're like, no, it's my time with the kid. No, it's my time with the kid. Mm-hmm. It's just awful. So I guess we'll see. And it's not that we don't like Korea. It's just that we've been here a really long time. Yeah. We'll be here longer than like a normal rotation at a base is 3 years. Stateside.
Oh, okay. Stateside, yeah.
And so we'll be here 3.5. Mm. And so like a normal Korea rotation for a family is 2 years. Yeah. So we're already here an extra however long, year and a half. Now we might be here an extra... Because he'll get back, and we'll have, like, 6 months before we go, and they're like, well, that's a lot of money to only have him for 6 months. Mm-hmm. What if we did 18? And I'm like, I don't know anymore. I don't know.
Uncle Sam has got to stop, like, being the most.
And I was talking to my mom the other day before we found out about this, and I was like, yeah, only, like, 18 months till we're home, like, or until we're moving back stateside. She's like, yeah, that's 2 pregnancies. I'm like, excuse me? She's like, that's only 2 pregnancies. And I'm like, do you want me to have 2 pregnancies before we get back to the state? Like, what are we talking about? She's like, no, it's just the duration. And I'm like,
why is that your measuring
stick?
Why in the world would you measure time like that?
I don't know. And aren't you pregnant actually for, like, 10 months?
Yeah.
So it's not even. Anyway.
Your mom.
I love her so much. But
she never keeps you waiting for something to get boring.
Yeah, she's always got something.
You're right. And it's always out of left field.
It's the epitome of Americans will measure in anything but the metric system.
Correct.
Except now instead of in time, it's pregnancies. Anyway, speaking of going back to see my mom, so I'm flying standby there. Like, I'm, it's a whole thing.
Call me dumb, but what does that mean?
I have a family member who has flight benefits, and they're allowing me to use their flight benefits. Okay. But that just means I can't, like, I'm not buying a ticket. I'm like, Space A. Okay. It's Space A.
Okay, like, so that makes sense to me, but the average person might not.
Oh, okay, so it's like, basically, I get to show up and be like, hey, hi, hello, do you have an extra seat on this flight? And if they go, yeah, I get to get on the plane.
Great.
But if they don't have seats, I don't fly.
Right.
And as a person who likes to pre-plan everything.
It doesn't work for you.
I can only book a seat or book my ticket, whatever you want to call it, 48 hours or less in advance.
You're going to be so Inconsolable.
The amount of sleep I've lost already.
The anxiety that is coursing through your veins now, just talking about it.
Oh, I'm so anxious. Because it's not like the airport's close.
That's true.
And
You
I have
can't
to...
exactly,
I go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I travel all the way out there.
Yeah.
I get through security.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot check a bag. Like, I can. But if I don't get on the flight, they'll still take my baggage. Is... Like the
So your baggage has more right to the plane than you do.
Well, because you check your baggage early.
I know, but
so you just check your bags, and then like your bag is going because you think, oh, you're getting on the flight, right?
That's the cheapest shipping I've ever heard of in my life.
And then so like they'll take your bag or whatever, and so heaven forbid, I don't get on the flight because some Joe Schmo decided to pay last minute to get on this flight, right?
Yeah.
So I get bumped off the plane. My baggage is still on the plane, and they're probably not going to take it off because it's probably buried in there, and they're not going looking for it.
No.
So it's going to get to San Francisco or whatever, and have to wait to get routed all the way back to me. So I'm not flying with bags.
You know what would be worse than that?
Huh?
It goes all the way to San Francisco. It comes back around, and then you are able to get on a flight. And you have to wait for it to come back here just to have it go back over there. Oh.
So I am traveling in an itty-bitty little yellow suitcase.
Is it that itty-bitty yellow suitcase behind me?
It is.
That is not a regular-sized suitcase at all.
And a backpack. That's my carry-on. Because that's what a carry-on looks like for...
You.
For the last flight I took home, that was the size parameter for it. So it's a cube.
It makes me uncomfortable. I feel like Bumblebee is back there, but it's like
Bumblebee,
like the Transformer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me why everything in my brain was going, yeah, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
That's not a thing.
Nope, not him. Bumblebee's not a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. It's not him.
No, for sure.
Sorry.
Bonk.
Bonk, bonk. Okay. Speaking of weird instances, or things that make you uncomfortable. Or, well, I guess that's not a good transition. Things that make me uncomfortable.
Your segues. Top notch today.
It's been a minute since we've done this, okay?
That's fair.
It's been a minute.
That's fair. All right.
Hit
me. Oh, ow, God.
Sorry.
I wasn't ready for that.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. I forgot I'm wearing a ring.
Yeah. McStabby over here.
Am I on Grey's Anatomy now? McDreamy, McSteamy, and McStabby?
All the nurses are yearning for you and your stabby self.
Oh, I hate it so much. Okay,
What's up?
The other day, by the other day, I mean yesterday, I was at my realtor paying my rent.
Yeah.
And I sit down and she looks at me and she goes, oh my God, I thought you were a teenager. And I'm like, thank you, I think. And like, I pay because like, I'm legally not a teenager.
Yeah.
And I could pay my rent because it's my rent and I'm here with my husband.
Yeah.
Anyway. She's like, wow, I thought you were a teenager. Like, what happened? All this stuff, right? And she said, what happened? Which was a weird thing to say. And then I go to get on the bus to go out to another base. And, like, the bus ride is fine. And I get all the way out there, and I give the bus driver my ID. And he holds it up to my face like they do in movies for, like, when you're at the club. And they're holding it up to make sure it's you. And he's looking at my ID and back at me and at my ID and back at me. And then he goes, thank you. And I was just like, okay, do I not look like myself?
That's a normal reaction to somebody checking your ID.
No, but, he looked like a long time.
Okay.
It wasn't like a, you know how they usually just, like, glance?
Uh-huh.
He was, like, looking.
Okay. Well, maybe he's a thorough individual.
I hope so.
Because, like...
But it was just a really strange...
I've seen your ID. I don't recall it being Like your old ID for sure. Yes, I could see that.
Like, what do you mean my old ID?
Your old military
Oh, because
ID.
my picture was basically so dark you couldn't tell it was me.
Yeah.
Because that camera was so bad. And they took the photo with the lights off.
Yeah, you kind of look like you had a long night.
And I was made of 12 pixels. And that is it. Yeah. But my current ID, it was done in a well-lit room. Like, it was great.
Yeah.
So I was just like, is it because I'm wearing glasses? Like, I don't... Because she had me take my glasses off. It was weird. I don't know.
I don't know. But the teenage thing I get.
What?
Yeah.
Do I look like a child?
Yeah. It's the Drew Barrymore thing. It's just, you've got a face that's so, I don't know, innocent looking.
I love her.
You're just, you got the look that leans more, I could be younger than you think I am.
I've been told I look like her my whole life, and that's truly the highest compliment that can be bestowed upon me.
It's honestly correct. Like, you've got a Drew Barrymore thing going on. But sometimes, like I asked yesterday when you texted me about all of this, I asked you what look you were going for, essentially. I needed to know how you looked that day, because sometimes...
I put on clothes.
Right, it was your default, which is perfectly fine. You basically look like an 80s mom.
Yeah.
However, you sometimes will dress a certain way, like you want a certain look, and it will make you look 5 years younger.
Like what I wore to the bar? Is that what you're going with?
I don't remember what you wore.
Oh,
then I'll be honest.
Because Steven looked at me and went, huh. And like, I know I'm doing something when it catches Steven's attention.
Yeah, that's fair.
He was just like, huh. And then he was just trying to pick a bunch of words to describe it, and I don't think he was liking any of the words he was picking.
Probably not.
It was great. It was a great time.
Yeah, like right now you're in overalls. That's not helping. And the fact that
These
sometimes...
are my substitute teacher overalls, thank you.
Yikes. And sometimes you put your hair in a certain way that just makes you look like you're a teenager. It's normally braids.
You're gonna have to tell me next time this happens.
Okay.
Okay, I've one more thing to share with you really quick.
I would love to know this information. Tell me.
So when I went out, it was for Jake. Like, I went to the other base. Jake was getting fitted for a custom military uniform, the new pinks and greens.
Okay.
Like, the new dress uniform.
Yeah, I understand the greens. I don't understand the pinks.
That's just what they're called. They're called the pinks and greens.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
I've just heard the greens.
Oh, no, I don't know. They're called the pinks and greens now.
All right, well, anyway.
It's
the old school uniform that, like, was popular in the 40s, I think, right? Am I wrong?
I think so. 50s, 50s.
Something like that.
I Dream of Jeannie era.
Right.
It's truly the best move the Army's made in a very long time.
I was going to say a joke, but then I was like, man, maybe I don't.
No, you gotta say it now.
It wasn't a good joke. It's just, yay, they finally did something right.
Yeah, they really did. It's great. However, so I went out, and the guy was just telling me, oh, your husband should become an officer. He's got that look. All this stuff, right? This old school Korean man.
Okay.
And he and, like, the tailor have probably been doing this longer than Jake and I have been alive combined.
Okay.
And because the whole place is just pictures of him with generals and stuff. It's, like, insane. But he was just like, yeah. And he had this hot take for me that I don't think he thought was a hot take. That surprised me coming from a old school Korean guy. And it was, behind every successful man is a woman, like, is a wife. And every sacrifice she makes is for the betterment of the husband and all this stuff. And he was just like, yeah, no man would be able to do it without a good woman. Like, no man would be able to be successful. It's all women. Like, don't let anybody tell you different. All this stuff. And I was just like...
That is very 21st century of you, sir.
Wow!
My God.
Man is so ancient, but he's speaking like I don't know. Yeah, I was like, you've been around the world a couple times. You've been around the sun. I get, you know, I was like, I'm picking up what you're putting down, sir. That was so nice, but I also didn't really know what to say.
thank you would probably
That's
work.
what I said.
Then that's it.
And I was like, oh, thanks, yeah. And then he was like, yeah, you should really push your husband to go officer and all this stuff. And Jake was getting fit in. The man was like drawing on him with chalk, and I could tell he was just trying not to be like, that sounds like the worst plan. Going to the dark side, no thank you.
I'll pass, thanks.
Yeah. It was like, I hate it, thanks. And the man was just like drawing on him with chalk. It was great. It was a great time.
Great.
That's all I have for you. That was the whole story.
Oh, okay, cool. I see a couple more things on our list of things to talk about, so hit me with them.
Okay. So,
shoot. As it were.
I was talking to a couple friends of mine, and one of my friends had actually moved in with an acquaintance of mine from high school.
Okay.
They're friends. They've known each other a while.
Okay.
We all went to high school together.
Great.
And so all the time, I'll be like on video chat or like whatever with my friends, and this friend, we're gonna call him Ned. He's gonna hate that if he ever gets a hold of this. Ned was in the background, right? And I was laughing because I was like, I don't think he and I have had a conversation in like 5 years. He graduated before I did. Okay. With my friends. And so they kept like sending me Snapchat videos back and forth. And I was like, I feel like I just exist in Ned's periphery. Like I may not be a person who exists. Mm. And then Ned was like, no, dude, you absolutely exist. Like I remember you being really cool. And I was like, oh, I thought you were going to say insufferable. Because if anybody knew me in high school, I was absolutely insufferable. I was the worst.
Has anybody actually said that to your face, though?
Not in a long time.
I hate that answer. Thanks.
And so I put together this analogy. I was like, my existence is akin to how all of the clowns fit in the clown car. It makes sense, and there is an answer. Mm-hmm. But you don't really know what it is unless you're on the in.
What a weird journey you took me on. What the fuck was that?
And he said that is the best analogy he's ever heard, and he's stealing it, but will give me credit. So if that somehow makes it around, it's me.
I don't think you have to worry.
Are you telling me that was a bad analogy, Christina?
I wouldn't say bad. It just... Nope. It just wasn't doing it. Not for me. You don't have to worry about me ever saying that.
Okay. Well, shout out to you, Ned. You know who you are. And maybe Dan will show you this. Anyway, that's all I've got for this week.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna leave you with a question, Christina.
Okay. I'm afraid to say hit me anymore.
If you had to equate your existence to something, like acquaintances, like, or people, so, like, in the same relationship I have with Ned, so, like, a friend of a friend. Okay. So, like, I'm in his orbit, but, like, we don't really converse or anything.
Gotcha.
If you had to relate yourself to somebody in that same way, what analogy would you use since you did not like the clown car?
Oh my god. What a very specific question. That's all.
I I could ask you which ones you think are my good dishes. Whichever you'd prefer.
Okay.
And with that, we'll see you next time.
All right. See, well, you won't see us, but
here, catch you next time.
With both hands. Bye.
Love you. Bye.